Alright, I want to give my bit on will these tablet-like and iPad devices, the craze of these devices, hit a wall. At this point in time, it's obvious that the iPad is extremely successful. I think the sales are somewhat of 14 million plus sold to date. Moreover, the Samsung Android tablets are making a move in the market and have risen to, what, 25% of the market. So there is a huge demand and there is a consumer hunger for these devices. Whether this is like a fad or a real desire by the consumers, that's not really what I'm concerned about. Now, I've read tons and tons of articles out there. Articles that talk about iPad or tablet-like exhaustion, and that people are buying them and not really using them, and that they're first-time adopters or people that are really into buying the latest and greatest tech and own one for just owning it for owner's sake. You know, owning one for just having it. Articles in that a device in that a jack of all trades is not a master of one, and thus will this all-encompassing media device really replace truly dedicated devices that do their dedicated services very well. So along with all these articles that are talking about it being a fad and all the limitations and it doesn't do X, Y, and Z, or it should have X, Y, and Z, that many of the vendors are rushing to market despite even publishing it with obvious limitations and promises that are going to come later to quote-unquote catch this wave, this fad wave, while the market is good. Because obviously Apple's already made out. Whether this is a truly temporarily type consumer trend, Apple's made very well on it. And there are articles discussing, well, everyone else wants to hurry up and get in and ride the rest of the wave the best they can. Kind of like what some articles compare to the netbook craze. And sure, I've given my own concerns in terms of price point for services rendered. But again, the numbers don't lie. People are obviously buying quite a lot of them. So a lot of what I just mentioned can be argued to the contrary. The wall I am talking about is computer companies versus telecom. Now, let me elaborate on that. The issue that I'm seeing today and hearing from telecom is that their logistics and structure is being strained and pushed to the brink. We have too many people using and demanding too many megabits of data over various technologies, from 3G going up to 4G, whether it's HSPA plus or LTE or WiMAX. The complaints are coming in and the vendors are responding by charging very high prices for the use of that data. So let's say we have our phones, and our smartphones are definitely demanding a lot on the networks, and now we're adding these tablet-like devices to the mix. And they're going to have their own 3G and 4G. So now, you know, we have these two devices straining the network. And like I said, I view these tablet-like devices as an extension, really, of my phone, because the screen real estate is what I am after to do what I want. I find it very productive to use many of the existing apps that are out there, but on a much larger screen, and trying to transfer a lot of that functionality that doesn't quite work well to me on the phone to this tablet-like device. But trying to use my phone as the main source for the data connection. So the concern that I have is beyond a price point for services rendered, and if you were just to buy a tablet-like device outright, and you decide to have a data plan with it, that data plan is compounding the price. And it's not cheap. So you're paying a data plan for your smartphone and a data plan for your tablet-like device, and increasing your entire mobile experience exponentially in cost. And so let's say you do want to find a solution. So I don't want to pay this other data plan here. I want to use my existing smartphone. I want to generate a Wi-Fi hotspot, or I want to tether. Guess what? The computer vendors sell us a product and bam, it hits this wall of saying, well, you know what? You want to do that? You got to pay up. Or, you know, we're not going to offer that feature. Oh, no, no, no. You can't tether. And so then we have people that want to jailbreak it to say, well, you know what? Yes, we can. And round this vicious circle goes and say, well, you know what? If you jailbreak your device, we're not going to give you LTE, and we're not going to honor X, Y, and Z. So I'm not advocating saying always need to find ways of trying to steal data, but the way the structures are, I find it extremely expensive, and I feel that it should be much more competitive. Prices need to be justified in allowing us to use one source far more than what is allowed, whether it's tethering or Wi-Fi hotspots or connecting to 4G. Good Lord, when we get to 5G, there's going to be another $10 service charge rendered on top of everything else that you're paying. Now, I don't know if this goes for my European viewers. I hear that you guys have some other structures, but from other users out there that tell me your carriers can be just as blood-sucking as ours are here. Not only that, we have these great devices, we're very excited about it, and bam, the vendor gets to control distribution. Android is heavily at the mercy of the vendors. Now, Apple fans, hold on, because so is Apple. But Android, while it's very ubiquitous at this point in its strategy to get out there, these vendors put their own damn layers on there, and it prohibits updates and then exerts all kinds of control to the point where I almost want Google to take Android and find some way of making it proprietary to exert its authority back and saying, you know what, if this is the only legal way to make a standard so that you guys can push regular updates or comply to an user experience that we want, you know, this is how we're going to run the show. Apple, while it has its own software limitations and how it progresses with its own flavors, copy and paste, multitasking, things like that in its own ecosystem, for whatever reason, it decides to do very slowly and incrementally, gets hammered from vendor limitations like Wi-Fi hotspot, tethering, MMS. I mean, it took a while just to get all this other stuff, and Apple has to pay the price for launching its product on this. So again, it's hitting that wall of the telecoms. So here we have post-PC emerging. Yes, we're going to be using desktops for quite a while to come, but it's emerging. It's showing its true power and trying to break out of its early stages and become mature and start fulfilling all of our wishes slowly but surely. But then it's hammered and hammered and hammered by all these exterior limitations that, quite frankly, before with desktops and other types of computing, those limitations were addressed by the computer industry in general. This is the computer industry versus another type of industry to try to work together. It's almost as if the computer industry should get together and buy a network out there to try to get us on the internet in some way with a fair price, and all of us running on VoIP, and we just forget about, you know, CDMA or GSM or having simultaneous voice and data, and use IM in place of text, and all of it running on the internet someday. Granted, I do hear Telecom and saying, hey, logistics are expensive. We've got to get municipality agreements and the logistics of laying cable and support. Sure, it's expensive. But I'll be quite honest, I don't think all the pricing is very fair. And here comes other devices. Guess what? Boom, boom, boom. Let's tack on more fees. $5 here, $10 here, $15 here. I mean, it's to the point it's like, you know what? I'll just stick to home and not worry about any of the rigmarole for the in-between devices. So, I want your opinion. How hard are the new computing devices going to hit that telecom wall? Feel free to comment or post a response. Thanks for watching.